Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the NORA series here for the round of 8 at Martinsville Raceway. And it's set to be a good one under the lights here tonight for the round of 8 elimination race. 4 drivers will advance to that championship race. And boy, is it going to be a good one. You see those top 4 on your screen right there. Dalton Tucker, Corey Wharton, Todd Slauson, and Sean Briscoe all set to do battle here tonight. You'll see those top 4 trying to stay in that top 4 all night long. And it should be a good one at this half-mile speedway. A little short track racing for you here tonight. You're going to see a lot of door-to-door battles, a lot of close quarter combat between these drivers. That's always going to be an exciting time to round out the round of 8 and set us up for that championship 4 at Phoenix Raceway. Excuse me, I believe it might be Homestead. It is ISM. It is going to be next week. 170 laps around there. For tonight, 213 laps around this half-mile paperclip shaped track of Martinsville Speedway. Your stages are going to be 53, 53, and 107. So pay attention to that throughout the race. We will get cautions at every single stage break. Drivers will be able to throw on a new set of tires if they choose. Reminder that there are tire limits in the NORA B series. They get 4 additional sets of tires. So we'll see most teams switch after stage number 1 and stage number 2. And at some point in stage number 3, and then you get 1 additional set there as well. So 4 sets to do with as you choose. 65 degrees in the air here tonight with a clear sky. No wind. And like we mentioned, 213 laps. So it is going to be a good one here tonight. If this is your first time tuning into an NORA B series race, first of all, welcome. And second of all, you might notice O's and R's next to some of these drivers' names across the top ticker on the top of your screen. An O means the driver is running for owner's points. So you can think of that driver as maybe a sub into the league or someone who hasn't run the full season. The R or nothing next to their name are drivers that are running for those points. The points we talked about, making up that round of 8, making up that championship 4 that you'll see everyone battling for here tonight. So pay attention to that throughout the night, seeing if drivers with the O's maybe give way to some of these drivers with the R's. But don't be surprised if we get some hard racing and drivers not wanting to give up a spot throughout the night. Should be a good one on tap for you. And with that, qualifying is complete. You see, it looks like Ryan Kendrick going to be on the pole here tonight. Josh Conover starting second. And Dalton Tucker rounding out your top 3. But let's take you through the grid here before too long. And for the NORA B series, round of 8 at Martinsville. On the pole tonight is Ryan Kendrick in the 00 car. In second place, Josh Conover rolls off outside row 1. Dalton Tucker will start third on his outside. Sean Briscoe in fourth. Matthew George will roll off 5th here tonight, and Bruce Ackerman in the 69 starts in 6th. Rolling off 7th tonight is going to be Drayton Cook in the 89 machine. Josh Mayu in the 02 rolls off 8th. Kevin Roy from Canada. He's one of 2 Canadian drivers here tonight. The other right outside of him, Corey Wharton in the number 20 machine, rolling off 10th. Todd Slauson and Timothy Harper make up the next row, 11th and 12th. And Tim Abril rounding out your field. He'll bring up the rear in the 98 machine. He starts 13th. Martin Plute, going to be your race administrator here tonight. So big shout out to him, putting in that work week in and week out. And also a big shout out to Josh Conover. He's actually in the race here tonight. But another one of those league administrators really makes this thing go round. We're going to get set to rock and roll here. It's going to be 2 pace laps here under the yellow flag conditions at the start of the race. iRacing does give you 2 pace laps on tracks shorter, or half mile and shorter, excuse me. So we'll get the double duo of pace laps here, as you're going to see the pace car continue to stay on the track here. And you notice that pit road entry all the way in turn 3. It's going to be interesting. Going to give the drivers a little bit of room to kind of play with on the restart. So we might see some drivers get kind of creative with that. We'll have to stay tuned on that. Good look at the field right there. You'd love to see that down toward the back straightaway one more time. And you're going to see these playoff drivers with that red windshield banner and possibly the red spoiler as well. Going to differentiate themselves from all of the other drivers. Here we go on the hood of your race leader, Ryan Kendrick. Green flag in the air, and we are underway here from Martinsville. Down in turn 1 for the first time here tonight. 2x2 for the first 2 groups, and they're able to keep it clean. The leader, Kendrick, starting to pull away a little bit, but George to the inside of the 36 of Briscoe. Briscoe washes up the track a little bit, and right behind him, battle raging on between Cook and Mayu as they go to work. Cook in a safe little spot. Mayu trying to hold off Corey Wharton. Corey Wharton, the road course aficionado. But let's pay attention to number 20 if he can make his way up toward the front of this. And you saw cars 2x2 right there. That's Bruce Ackerman in the 69 Twix machine getting down onto that curbing. He's going to slide to that bottom and almost do a Formula 1 style defense right there. Holding on to the bottom groove, trying to force Drayton Cook in the 89 to go around. Cook does not, and we continue to move on here at Martinsville. So in the NORA B Series, Xfinity cars, obviously, but they are also 85% of the fuel load. Meaning the drivers will have a very realistic pit strategy in terms of the real-life Xfinity NASCAR series. The NASCAR Xfinity series, excuse me. As we also are doing 75% of the laps. So far, so good for Ryan Kendrick, but he's going to be under attack from Dalton Tucker. Tucker has been an absolute force all season long, and he's looking to continue it here at Martinsville. Tucker to the bottom. Kendrick to the top side, and Tucker slides up into that top spot. He's going to take the lead for the first time tonight. Conover watching this battle from just in front of him, back in that 29 Bass Pro Shops machine. Trying to reel in Ryan Kendrick after losing the position to Dalton Tucker. And we'll see if this is kind of the beginning of the end for everyone else's race. We've seen Tucker just dominate a lot of races, getting out in front, getting that clean air, and then just pulling away from everybody. And to be determined if he'll be able to do that again here tonight. Those top three starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. Further on back, Matthew George kind of on his lonesome. Sean Briscoe and Bruce Ackerman also making up a tandem of cars. Right behind them, you saw Drayton Cook slide up the track a little bit. Corey Wharton trying to take advantage of that in the number 20 machine. Wharton all over the bottom right there, almost to the back bumper, the 89. Won't lay the bumper just yet. Still a little early in the race to do something of that nature. You see Cook washing up the track hard, trying to come back on down. He's going to concede the position to the number 20 machine. And the number 20 with a little bit of lockup right there. They come off of turn 2. Down the back straightaway. Looks like Wharton going to be able to hang on. The aggressive braking right there by the 20 pushes him up into the 7th spot. A good little start for Wharton. You know that he hasn't always had the best car, the best pace. Looking good so far here tonight. We'll keep it locked in on this battle for the time being. Wharton trying to pick up another couple spots. Ackerman and Briscoe in front of him. Not able to do it off of turn 4 as they head down toward the back straightaway after turns 1 and 2. Lap 15 out of 213. It's well underway here from Martinsville. Josh Mayu in the 02 car. Not quite sure what happened to that machine. We'll take a quick look on back here. Zeer's just struggling for grip, really. Going down back into turns 1 and 2. You see it up toward that outside retaining wall. Looks like might have scuffed a little piece of it right there. We'll get you back here live. Maybe now 2 laps down and 2 laps at Martinsville. Not a huge deal. You see a lot of guys really work all night long. And Drayton Cook going to work on Corey Wharton as they're going to battle and continue to battle here in turns 1 and 2. You see the front end of that Chevrolet Camaro of Drayton Cook just dive all the way down back to the racing surface. Hard on those brakes. and then back up speed as quick as possible. Right now, it sounds like a lot of the drivers staying in that fourth gear. We might see drivers trying it down to third gear, maybe get a little bit extra grip. In certain places, so don't be surprised if you hear the car shifting a little bit as Wharton trying to go to work on Ackerman. Sticking his nose down there, and that's a dangerous spot to be. Especially if you get the nose chopped on off. You see the ticker at the top of your screen. Josh Conover closing in on the 00 of Ryan Hendrick. All the way to the back bumper goes the 29. He's trying to sneak by the 00 machine. Mind you see that red spoiler and the red windshield banner on the 00. He is racing for points for the championship, the Drivers' Championship. Josh Conover right behind him. One of those racing for owner's points. One of those subs, so to speak. Often the 29 was Chad Engel. We haven't seen Chad here in a couple races, so Josh Conover able to fill in that role in the 29 Bass Pro Shops Toyota Supra. So they continue to battle as we venture on down the stretch. Ackerman and Wharton continuing to do battle as Ackerman seemingly able to stay in front of the number 20 of Wharton. I don't know if Wharton has the pace to really pass him just yet. Certainly going to try to as these laps tick on. You see the gap actually increasing a tad over these past 5 laps there. Up to 0.2 of a second, which as you guys can see right on your screen is not much. Ackerman and Wharton continuing to battle. They are about 10 seconds back of your race leader, Dalton Tucker, who's trying to put this race in the bag and just prove that he is the most dominant driver here in the NORA B Series. They have 33 out of 213. Its laps continue to just fly on by. Very fast lap times here at Martinsville. You see Todd Slauson in danger of going a lap down to Dalton Tucker. He's fending off the 19 of Timothy Harper. These guys battling for 10th. Harper, the last car on the lead lap. It'll be interesting to see how this battle kind of unfolds as the leaders quickly approach as well. Watching this battle for 10th Rage on between Todd Slauson in the 22 and Timothy Harper in the 19. Todd Slauson, one of your top 8 drivers as well. I believe he's actually in the top 4. They're trying to stay there all night long. He's actually scored 3rd as we're looking at it right now. Thank you to our statistician crew right there. And a little bit of damage right there to the front end of the 19. So running the back end of the 22 right there. Let's take another look at that one for you. As they go down into turns 3 and 4. 19 machine just with a lot of speed. And gives a gentle love tap to the 22, just letting him know that he's there. The 19 thinking about going low, can't do it just yet. You see the leader in their rear view mirror, Dalton Tucker, as we quickly approach the first stage break here. First stage break going to be on lap 53 here. Like we mentioned, the 4 additional set of tires. So guys can just probably chew through tires pretty easily here at Martinsville, knowing that you have that many sets of tires. Going to the outside is your race leader, the 24 of Dalton Tucker. He's going to cruise by the 19 of Harper. You see Harper now 1 lap down on your scoring screen. And Todd Slauson going to try and fend off the 24. He's got a long time to do it, 8 laps. In fact, I don't know that's going to happen. With a good run off the corner, the 24 in a good spot right here. Drayton Cook over the radio. Not quite sure what happened to the 89 right there. You see right here, Drayton Cook, the driver he just passed, Tim Averill. Looked like he was having a little bit of trouble right there. Averill in the 98 car. Looks like he's going to bring it here to pit road a couple laps early before the stage ends. It's an interesting move right there by Averill. Maybe trying some fancy pit strategy. And flash you back to Dalton Tucker, who's still trying to chase down Todd Slauson. Slauson doing a good job of staying on that lead lap, and it's so important to do here at the end of the stage. As you do get to pit with the leaders if you do. So the 22 doing everything in his power to hold on. He's going to wash up the track just a bit. Tucker going to take advantage of that mistake. He goes to the inside of Slauson, and Slauson might have to concede this in 3 and 4. He will. Hops back in line behind that DuPont Jurassic Park Toyota Supra, and boy, that is a mouthful. So he snuck by Slauson. Slauson now the first car 1 lap down. And coming to the end of stage number 1, Dalton Tucker in the 24 machine going to bring home the stage 1 win. You see Martin Plute coming over the radio to let the drivers know that the stage break is coming. Once every single driver crosses that start-finish line.
Caution, caution.
And there is the caution flag. Everyone getting settled on down. And our first stage break of the night. Dalton Tucker going to win the first stage here. Best lap at 20.182. Dalton Tucker having himself a good little run so far here tonight. Bringing all the leaders down pit lane here. You get a good look at all the cars right there. Excellent paint schemes here in the NORA B Series. You're going to see right sides and left sides jack up on all these cars. iRacing does not render each of the individual pit crews. That's why you don't see them jumping over the wall right there. It looks like Dalton Tucker going to jump to the back of the field here. So an interesting little maneuver right there by the 24, wanting to spice things up a little bit.
Hold on. What happened? Nah, I came out like at the rear quarter of Sean, and I didn't want to risk the netcode contact. I guess I pulled too far to the right, and it gave me a drop at the end for unsafe pit exit.
I just reviewed it. You're within the lines, you're within the cones. There's no reason for that penalty, so I will clear it. If anybody has that problem later, let me know.
Yeah, I still gotta let the 19 and all that people by. It's whatever. I'll get the track position back when I get it back. Oh, I even gotta let Todd by. Damn.
So getting a good little look at the in-race chatter between some of the drivers and the drivers in race control as well right there. So the field's starting to 2x2 on up here. This pace car is going to take that left-hand turn on the pit lane. You see Conover trying to jump that outside right there. Gets washed off the track a little bit. And a green flag back out here on lap 59 out of 213. As Kendrick going to lead the field down in turns 1 and 2. George hot on his tail back there in the 28. That Powerade machine. Trying to make that work. Driving it deep into turns 3 and 4. Hard on the brakes through the middle of that corner. Further on back, Dalton Tucker trying to make his way up through the field already. He's past the 36 of Briscoe. He's going to try and take down the 69 of Ackerman. Right behind him That looked like the 19 of Timothy Harper, I believe. Really going to work. A lap down car. It's going to push Drayton Cook up the track. Corey Wharton going to follow suit as well. So 19, maybe just put the controller or the wheel in the hands of a big brother or something, because the 19 has a lot of pace right now. So pay attention to Timothy Harper before this one is said and done. Conover trying to make that pass for second. Can't do it just yet. George still holding on to that second spot. But Kendrick not able to run away. Saw the 24 of Dalton Tucker. Once he got to the front, he was able to just keep on going. Ryan Kendrick not able to do the same just yet. Dalton Tucker in that 5th spot. You can see him creeping on up on a couple of these drivers. Caution is going to be out here. Dalton Tucker, the 69 of Ackerman, all in trouble here. Let's see if we can't find out what happened for you. So Dalton Tucker coming up on the 69 here of Ackerman. So they go into turns 1 and 2. And might have been a little bit of net code right there. The 69 gets swung on around. 24 stopping and letting the 69 go on by. Good sportsmanship right there by Tucker. And the 69 probably a little bit frustrated about that as well.
EOL 24. Let me know when you're 2 to go.
You heard it right there. Dalton Tucker going to get an end of line penalty.
Lucky dog on out, son.
For causing that incident.
Oh, good, Dalton. Don't worry about it, man.
So no bad blood between those two drivers right there. And that's good to see here in the NORA B Series. A lot of times at these short track races, tempers can flare after an incident or two like that. And that's the first one we've seen here tonight. We haven't become accustomed to really seeing that many caution laps in the NORA B Series quite often. Very clean racing and really a lot of single file racing, and everyone really behaving, trying to save those tires as best as they can and maybe make a run late in that stint. So stay tuned on this one. This will throw a little bit of a wrench in maybe some drivers' pit strategies. I'd still imagine we see everyone at the stage break, but we start to talk about the idea of cautions breeding cautions. Now there's one. Will there be a second one or maybe a third one? We'll have to wait and see on that one. See the red lights on that pit road entry light. New addition from iRacing, and so cool to see what they're doing to further enhance the experience of the driver. And it is very
Shortcut.
cool right now. Eleven drivers still on that lead lap. Lights out on the pace car, so we got one to go here at Martinsville before we get back to that green flag racing action. Pace car turns off on a pit lane. The 28 of George might try to pin him on down. You see him, Ryan Kendrick
Green flag.
uses that second groove, kind of washes that outside lane up a little bit. And the 19 is in trouble right there. As Timothy Harper spinning on the front straight. Quick look at what happened in the 19. It looks like he might have just did that himself, getting on the accelerator just a bit too soon. And we get you back live now. As we continue to run green. A lot of good racing action going on. Conover back there in third. Tucker going to sneak under the 89 of Cook. Further on back, Todd Slauson and Bruce Ackerman going door to door in turns 3 and 4. Our next stage break going to be on lap 104. So quickly closing in on that one, and then we go the rest of the way. And top three all really bunched on up here. Not wanting to give an inch, and no one really able to pull away. Look from high up above Martinsville Speedway. From the spotter stand, you're getting to see what they see. Trying to help out their drivers. And you see just the runs that these cars appear to get in corner entry. Trying to stay off the rear bumper of the car in front of you, but trying to carry as much speed as possible into the corner. Tucker going to dive it low on Conover. Sneaks up in front of the 29's nose. He's off and running, looking for second place now. And Matthew George. Leaders coming up on the lapped car of April as Tucker pushes George on out of the way, and he is on a mission here tonight. And you see just how quick he's closing the gap on the 00. April goes high, hugs that outside retaining wall, and the 24 going to sneak on by Good little move for the 24. A bit of contact with the wall maybe for Matthew George right there. We'll see if that affects his race car the rest of the way. But a battle for the lead right here. Ryan Kendrick in the 00. Trying to hold off Dalton Tucker in the 24. Here on lap 85 of the 213. For the time being, Kendrick defending well. And as soon as we say that, he's going to give the inside, opens the door, and the 24 says, "How are you doing?" Takes the lead, and we have a new leader here in the Toyota Supra. Dalton Tucker, your stage 1 winner, sneaks back into the lead. And everyone else going to try and play catch up. Corey Wharton and Bruce Ackerman have been tangling all night long. Time being, both drivers racing very well together. We haven't really seen any kind of contact or anything that would make us be concerned. And Ackerman just trying to find a little bit of pace here on corner exit. Not able to do it just yet. But might be able to reel in the 20 as he engages with the lap traffic of April in the 19. Or excuse me, Harper. Timothy Harper's in the 19. I apologize for that one. Tim Averill is in the 98. Slauson and Roy doing a little bit of battle here. Slauson in that yellow and black car. Roy on the outside in that Sirius XM radio, white and black and blue, and boy, has had a nice looking paint scheme right there. We're going to stay locked in on this battle throughout the rest of this lap. 51, not one to give an inch. 22 slides up, a little bit of a slide job right there. But here comes the 51 back on the inside. Can't do it just yet. And it looks like Todd Slauson going to hold on to that position. .51 maybe with a little touch of the 22, forcing him a little bit wide. He drove it in so deep right there. You heard the brakes lock on up, trying to get the car throttled on down. Keep in mind that iRacing does not model just yet PJ1, that traction compound that you see at some racetracks. Lawson loose off of turn 4, able to keep the car from going around. That's going to be a byproduct of this colder track. 65 degrees when we started the night. Track going to cool off throughout the rest of the run as the night goes on. It's going to make it harder and harder to keep the car straight off the corner. Because that car just wants to go. You've maybe throttled it on down to third gear as well. It's a lot of power underneath those rear tires. Checking in on your race leader, Dalton Tucker. He has built a momentous gap between the next couple of drivers, Kendrick, George, and Conover. 3 seconds and opening between those drivers.
Two to go. Pit road closed.
A little early there, Mark.
You're right. It's 106, not 103. Continue on.
Heard it right there. The next caution for the stage coming out on 106, not 103. And pit road will be closed with 2 laps left in the stage. And just like in the real life Xfinity Series counterpart, that adds an extra layer of strategy to a bunch of this. And so not
All right,
everybody
now for real, 2 to go. Pit road closed.
is coming down pit lane with 1 to go in the stage and then staying out once the stage caution hits. Could see some drivers take a
White flag,
gamble.
Stage 1. Stage 2.
White flag in stage 2. You heard it from race control there. Dalton Tucker, your winner of stage number 1. He's going to go flying down the back straightaway in 3 and 4. And he is going to win stages 1 and 2. And Dalton Tucker feeling good here at Martinsville. Good race to the end right there.
You're gonna be caution. Oh, never mind.
3 drivers there, George, Conover, and Briscoe. And the yellow is
Didn't mean to get into you on the front stretch back there, Corey. Apologize.
here for stage number 2.
Hey, cars middle back.
Here comes everyone down pit lane here in stage number 2. Reminder that they do have 4 additional sets of tires. This is the second pit stop of a probable 3. So I would imagine everyone getting tires here. Looks like the 20 of Corey Wharton maybe trying a little bit of pit strategy here. And 24 sneaking on out in front of Kendrick, George, and company. As we're under caution for stage break after stage number 2. Getting us set to go for stage number 3. Getting ready to rock and roll here for stage number 3. Dalton Tucker going to lead us to that green flag. A lengthy stage number 3. 103-ish laps. Green flag in the air, and boy, there is a stack up further on back in the pack. Slauson up in the wall. Caution is out. Drayton Cook involved as well.
What'd you do, Josh?
And that was very
not me.
quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was me.
I just got a 3 and 4.
See Drayton Cook getting involved. Conover diving to the bottom and avoiding it. Briscoe doing the same. So a couple of accidents avoided. For a couple playoff contenders. Dalton Tucker going to hold on to lead.
I'll take the top.
And he is going to take the top. You heard it right there. Announcing his lane of choice. iRacing does not model the choose cone, which has been instituted in NASCAR. Any track under a mile and a half.
I don't know if you know, we're on 2 to green.
What the choose cone is a mark on the track. An orange triangle is what NASCAR has chosen.
Yeah, I figured about 3 and 4, if no one had said it, I'll just let you know.
About after the start-finish line, where drivers either pick the top or bottom line. So if the first 4 drivers pick the top line, you as that 5th driver can select the bottom and start on row number 1. So it adds another layer to iRacing. Unfortunately, iRacing does not model that just yet. Admittedly, it would be very difficult to figure out how to model it. But the leaders are able to pick their lane of choice. That's why you see the 24 up on the top side here. Maybe trying to get a little bit different grip on this restart. He's going to throttle it on down. And here we go. Green flag in the air as they take off. Down that front straight, and George dives it in so deep right there. And boy, these cars are getting stacked on up. Couple different drivers going with different methods of racing right there. Some drivers like that slow in, fast off mentality. And for the 28 car, it's just drive it in hard, hope it sticks, and keep the 24 behind you. And he's doing it right there. Matthew George still out in the lead. Good run for the 28 right now. Ryan Kendrick trying to fend off the 24. It's the first time we've seen that kind of challenge here tonight. Kendrick surrendered the lead later in stage number 2. Now trying to return the favor.
Holy shit. That just scared me.
Little radio sweetheart moment there from Josh Conover.
Oh, you're good. You blinked out in the middle of the corner and came back like inside me. I was like, ooh.
You heard it right there. A little bit of an internet issue causing a scare right there. But Timothy Harper in the 19 back in the lead lap. He's up to 9th. Getting a couple lucky dogs there. He's having himself a good little run here tonight. I've 128 of 213. You see the battle raging on just in front of Ryan Kendrick. Matthew George and Dalton Tucker going side by side. It looks like the 24 are going to win this battle for now.
Yeah, I just had to restart my trading pane.
Okay.
Really, these top 7 cars all pretty much locked up. Dalton Tucker out in the lead, and he would love nothing more than to see this race go green the rest of the way. Conover closing in on Wharton there, trying to give us a good little look inside his cockpit. He's going to do it again. Tries to get the nose underneath the 20 of Wharton. Can't do it just yet. Wharton continues to defend. '29 all over the 20 here. Just about 80 laps to go from here at Martinsville, and those are going to clip by very quickly. quick reminder that these drivers get 85% of the fuel load in a normal Xfinity NASCAR stock car. And coupled with that, we're going to do 85% of the laps of the real thing here tonight at Martinsville. So you will see a need to bring it down pit lane for a little bit of fuel at some point. And when that is going to be determined by these drivers. Especially at a track like Martinsville, you can kind of game it a little bit. I'll be very curious to see how this one shapes up. Looking at Corey Wharton in 20, right in front of him, Sean Briscoe in 5th, Bruce Ackerman in 4th, Ryan Kendrick in 3rd, Josh Conover right behind in 7th, and you see all of them separated by half a second from Ackerman back to Conover. Riding on the nose of Josh Conover right here. You see just how tight this racing is. Sometimes you don't give it enough credit of how these drivers are just able to turn in and turn out. Should be able to close that gap, get all the way to the back bumper, not touch the car in front of you, and then get back on the throttle as quick as possible so you can get a good run out. Like we said, you definitely cannot take that for granted here at Martinsville, especially because we've seen cars get so loose off of the corners. A little bit of trouble. Trouble right there. We'll see what we just missed from the 29. Hard on the brakes, and you see the 29 going fast and furious. Let's take you through the field very quickly here. Dalton Tucker, your race leader in the 24. He's won stages 1 and 2. And every single time that he's been able to get out front, he's opened that gap further and further. So Dalton Tucker in the 24, definitely the driver to beat here at Martinsville. And if they're going to do it, maybe think about doing it on pit strategy. Here's we're approaching halfway through stage number 3. We'll see drivers on pit road momentarily, so pay attention to that as this goes on. Matthew George back there in 2nd. Kind of a shaky stage 1 and 2, but then all of a sudden the 28 machine was up toward the front of the pack, and there he has stayed. So he's figured out some little change with the car. He's having a great time keeping that Powerade Toyota Supra in 2nd place, with Ryan Kendrick just behind. Speaking of Kendrick, he's had a good little run. He's been in the lead for a little while. Gotten shuffled on back as well. But definitely Kendrick having a very good race here in the NORA B Series, and he needs one. He's not in the top 4 currently. So needing a good finish here tonight. Further on back, Corey Wharton holding off Bruce Ackerman and Sean Briscoe. And this is a very good battle right here going on. We're actually going to step away from going through the field, and we're going to pay attention to Sean Briscoe here in that black and green Patron machine. Boy, was that a fun rhyme right there. But sneaking by Bruce Ackerman in the 69 Twix. We'll see if he can keep it there. We've seen Ackerman be very strong, and it's funny how close the 69 and the 20 have been really all night long.
A little different than Monday, huh, Bruce?
Oh yeah.
This battle kind of sizzles out a little bit, so let's finish going through the entire field. We talked about Corey Wharton, the road course legend. He's doing pretty well here on the short track for himself, up to 4th position. He's been battling the 69 really all night long. But good to see him up in front of the 36 of Sean Briscoe. Sean Briscoe, one of those drivers in the top 4. He's needing a good finish as well. He was sitting in 4th coming into tonight. One of those you almost want to guarantee yourself being in by just having such a good finish. Briscoe going to try and do that in the last half of this race. Bruce Ackerman in the 69, he's had an up and down little day. At times looked very quick, and at other times looked like he's struggling with the setup a little bit. And we heard over the radio them talking back and forth a little bit, saying it's so much different than Monday. So drivers trying to figure this thing out late in this one, and that's what's so fun about the stage racing is you can't afford to do that. You can start to afford to try something in stage number 2 and early in stage number 3, and if you don't like it, put the car back how it was and wrap that stage up. Josh Conover right behind in the Bass Pro Shops Toyota
Thanks,
Supra.
Bob.
No problem. Just remember it when I run you down one day. Just kidding, that'll never happen.
Some friendly banter going on there, and that's fun to hear right there. But Josh Conover, coming up and down day, we saw him in the top 3 for such a long time. He's now dropped further on back, losing time to Ackerman as well. He might fall into the clutches of Kevin Roy here soon. Kevin Roy, the other Canadian driver, we saw the 51 put a little bit of bumper on the 89 of Drayton Cook earlier, so now that they're nose to tail here, might pay attention a little bit. Right behind him, Drayton Cook in the 89. Both these drivers, we haven't really paid attention to them all that much throughout the race. You see a little bit of damage there on the 89. And both these guys just kind of been running rock steady in the back. They haven't gone a lap down. They've been on the lead lap, just slightly off the pace of the rest of the field. So we'll see if they can make it up here at the end. Timothy Harper had a couple of incidents, really. We think back to that spin on the restart for the 19 machine. He's doing a good job of battling his way on back. He's up to 10th now. He's still on the lead lap. And while he's running by himself, if he gets back up in traffic, we saw him not be afraid to stick his nose in there on new tires. Rounding out your drivers on the lead lap, Todd Slauson in the 22. Actually, he might have just gone a lap down. He did. So your first driver a lap down is Todd Slauson in the 22. And Slauson, another one of those drivers, kind of having an up and down day, and he is third in points. So he could use a good finish. Currently sitting 11th right now. And you start thinking he's got a battle. Sean Briscoe, who was in 4th in points. Corey Wharton, 2nd in points. Dalton Tucker, Matthew George trying to get in. He's sitting 2nd. So a lot of drivers with a lot of ground to make up or lose. Dalton Tucker, your race leader. I gotta imagine we see him on pit lane pretty soon here.
I'll let you go next corner here, George.
Dalton Tucker out to a 4-second gap. And if you're Matthew George, Ryan Kendrick, and company, maybe start thinking about how we're going to be able to solve the Dalton Tucker problem through pit strategy, if there even is a strategy that you can do. And we start looking, we got about 40 laps to go as we cross the stripe. So closing on down, stages 1 and 2 are 52 laps.
Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you.
And we saw drivers able to stretch it to there. So curious to see to what point these drivers are able to get to.
Thanks, Tim.
No problem.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Thank you.
No problem.
So as we start to head toward these final pit stops, we're going to give you guys a good chance to turn that sound on up and crank it up and listen to the sounds of the drivers here as they fly around this half-mile Martinsville Oval.
fucking problem out there to throw the damn caution. Big crash. Bro, if you could, I had no idea what was happening there. Since
That's
four.
not-
Yeah, sorry guys, I lost it in the fourth corner.
If it wasn't him, it was gonna be me.
So you heard Kevin Roy right there over the radio saying he lost it in the fourth corner. You see it right there. We talked about the cold track. We
EOL
talked about
51,
the
let me know
old
your feedback.
tires. Able to keep it off the wall. But that could prove detrimental to that team. And that's going to provide everybody a chance to head down pit lane, and maybe we see some pit strategy right here. We talked about the drivers needing a break behind Dalton Tucker, and this could be it. They have 4 sets of Goodyear Eagles to use. This will be their 3rd set, so you still have 1 in your pocket after this, should you desire to use it. Dalton Tucker able to get off of pit lane first. It looks like he's going to be in a good spot. Matthew George going to be in 2nd. Ryan Kendrick 3rd. We talked about them needing a break. That was the break that they needed.
Two to go.
2 to go until we get the green
Yeah,
flag
2 to go.
again. Laps winding down here at Martinsville. We're going to have kind of a short turf shootout. Everyone on fresh tires, everyone going to be able to make those moves. And we've seen drivers with fresh tires be able to keep up with Tucker. It's those longer runs where he is able to conserve those tires and start to pull on away where that difference is made. He's going to take the top once again. So Dalton Tucker in the Jurassic Park DuPont machine. Trying to come away with a victory here at Martinsville. Sent him with a lot of momentum into that championship 4 at ISM next week for the finale of the NORA series. But first, we got to finish this race tonight at Martinsville. George on the bottom, kind of holding back half a car length, almost a full car length. Trying to see when the 24 starts so he can start as well. And that is going to backfire. George gets shuffled on out. Wharton to the back bumper. And here they go through turns 1 and 2. Field fanning out a little bit. They go down the back straightaway. 2x2 action. Wharton gets shuffled up the track a little bit. He's going to come back on George. You know, he can't be happy about that. Not going to give any more room this late in the race. And here comes Ackerman. Ackerman going to lock it on up there. Going to lose a lot of speed right there. Luckily for him, iRacing does not model flat spotting the tires. So 69 still might be okay. So he's going to lock it up once again. Briscoe and Ackerman going door to door, turn after turn. The 36 of Sean Briscoe, the 69 of Sean Briscoe, and then the 69 of Bruce Ackerman. "26 laps to go here at Martinsville." Those laps going to go by quickly. We saw the lap times that Dalton Tucker was laying earlier, about 20 seconds a lap. So you can start doing the math in your head. You know it's go time for a lot of these drivers. They're seeing 26, 25 to go. And if they're going to do something, they got to do it soon, especially on these fresher tires where you might be able to make a move. .23 laps to go now. Dalton Tucker out to a pretty good lead. Matthew George and Ryan Kendrick just trying to hold on. That gap has extended now to almost half a second, continuing to open 0.6 of a second, maybe bigger as Tucker heads back into 1 and 2. You see how much speed he's able to carry and diamonding the corners. We haven't really talked about that at all tonight, but that's what a lot of these drivers do at a track like Martinsville. Instead of turning the corner into one big continuous arc, you turn it into 2 straightaways. What's the fastest way between 2 points? It is indeed a straight line. So if you can straight line from the entry of turns either 1 or 3 to the apex, and then you take the apex to the exit of turns 2 and 4 in a sort of diamond-like fashion, that is one of the faster ways around here at Martinsville. .19 laps to go, George and Kendrick. And you just see how big this mess of cars is back on behind. The more these guys race, the more time they're going to lose to the leader, Dalton Tucker, who's now 1.3 seconds ahead of second. Everyone's staying pretty orderly here. 18 laps to go. Conover peeks to the inside, not able to do it. He is a lap down. But still giving it his all back there in the 29 machine. It looks like Drayton Cook is going to get turned around there. 89 in a little bit of peril. And let's see what caused the 89 to go around. It looks like he might have been helped. The 19 machine of Timothy Harper gets into the back end of the 89, sending him out and around. The Asheville Rooftop Bar Tours
Nice car, middle back.
machine gets spun around. The 51 of Kevin Roy also avoiding the incident, as well as Todd
EOL
Slauson.
19, let me know when you're 2 to green, please.
But Timothy Harper into the back of the 89, and Drayton Cook has just had a tough day. Dalton Tucker, Corey Wharton stay out. Matthew George, Ryan Kendrick, Sean Briscoe, Bruce Ackerman, and Drayton Cook all head to pit lane. They'll use their final set of tires. Tucker, Wharton, and Harper are going to be your top 3 who stay out. They're going to take the chance on these older tires. You see the pit strategy here now. Tucker and Wharton pitted 20 laps ago. Ready to get the green with under 12 to go. This is going to turn into quite the shootout, ladies and gentlemen. So buckle up, take a deep breath. If you've got some popcorn, get it ready. Because here we go. It's about to get fired on up here at Martinsville. Drivers racing to get into that final four. They're going to do everything they can in their power.
Yeah, 2 to go. 1 to go now.
I was gonna pit. I didn't see that it was 2 to go, my bad.
No problem.
That green flag in the air. Dalton Tucker gonna fly out of that inside line, but he's got the 20 all over his back bumper. Matthew George giving Wharton no room to maneuver. He's gonna move the 20 up the track. They think about going 3 wide. They fan out down the back straightaway. And George back to the bottom. He's gonna try to sneak by the 20. He's gonna lock up. Kendrick gets in his back bumper. Now Ackerman and Briscoe gonna sneak by as well. Ackerman to the bottom. He's got Drayton Cook following back behind. Lot of lockup right there. Drivers getting very aggressive, trying to get hard on those brakes in the corners. Riding along with Ryan Kendrick here in the 00. He's going to try and slowly creep on through. Maybe get to the inside of the 20 of Wharton. It looks like he will down the front straightaway. That's the spot you want to be. That inside groove for the 00. 8 laps to go here at Martinsville. Kendrick racing for all the marbles right here, trying to get as many spots as he can, give himself a shot to get into that top 4. You see that red spoiler and banner. He was not a part of the top 4 coming into tonight. He's got some work to do. Up toward the front, Matthew George into the lead over Dalton Tucker. Tucker holding off Sean Briscoe right behind him. And maybe some foul play going on here as the 28 starting to creep on by. Or maybe it's those new tires. Remember, Matthew George came down pit lane under that last yellow flag. It's looking like the smart move right here. 5 laps to go at Martinsville. Dalton Tucker under all kinds of pressure from Sean Briscoe. Briscoe not able to sneak on by just yet. He's going to lock up the tires. And Ackerman goes to the bottom. He's going to block all the way. The 00 going to follow suit. That's Ryan Kendrick. Not going to lay the bumper just yet. 4 to go here at Martinsville. Three laps to go. Matthew George in the lead, and it's a pretty sizable one. Dalton Tucker, if he's going to make the comeback, he's got to do it now. Here goes Briscoe to his inside. They're going to block all the way to the bottom. And the 00 also goes, and it looks like Briscoe might have gotten the 24 up into the wall. Big wreck right here behind the leaders. 2 laps to go, and caution is out for the 69 of Ackerman, and he was not the only one involved in this. Let's take another look at it. Coming through turns 3 and
I was trying to
4.
stay out of you, Dalton, but I wasn't expecting you to block that hard.
Dude, it's team tactics. 28 wins, he gets in on a win.
And it ain't even that. Points are so tight right now, it's like one spot is everything right now. I didn't say anything because I was kind of hoping that wouldn't happen, and it happened anyway.
You see the 24 just get turned
Trust
right
me, when I
there.
got shoved all the way from turn 1 to turn 4, I figured what was happening.
By Sean Briscoe, and the drivers voicing their displeasure with each other. We talked about it being short track racing and
Pretty sure my rear tires probably still are at 100%.
tempers flaring at a time like this.
Lucky Duck's coming around the outside here.
Everyone going to try and gather themselves up, collect themselves, and get into a green-white checker situation here at Martinsville. So you're going to see the lap counter continue to go 3 to go, 3 to go, 3 to go until we get the 1 to go. Then once we reach back on around, it will be 2 to go. And they'll have to do 1 revolution of Martinsville Speedway before the race is official when we take the white flag. We get another yellow before then. We rack it up and we try it again. We heard drivers jawing about the points, jawing about team tactics. The 24 maybe trying to let the 28 sneak on by and get in on the win, and then Tucker get in on points. So all these things to keep in mind as this race continues.
This is a call we're trying to make, the right call.
Called it off.
Green has been delayed, trying to figure out penalties and who to assess. Right here is where Race Control going to earn their money.
Alright guys, that was a mess. I think the caution actually came up for the 69 going around. I'm going to call it racing. 00 doesn't really come up from the curve. 69 comes down a little bit to avoid the wreck and just gets turned. So I'm going to determine that to be a racing incident. We will not delay the yellow anymore, so go at it.
You heard it right there. Gonna let the boys race. And what a great call by Race Control Martin Plute right there. I don't disagree with that one bit. Here we go. Big restart right here. Sean Briscoe on the outside. Matthew George on the inside. George has his teammate, the 24 of Dalton Tucker, pushing him. Green flag in the air. 2 laps to go here at Martinsville. Oh, and the 19 just running over the 24. Huge wreck back behind the leaders. And Dalton Tucker, Ryan Kendrick involved as well. Looks like Josh Conover also included. And let's get a better look at that. The 19 machine was not slowing down here.
EOL 19, it's going to be an EOL and a drive-through.
Drayton Cook also involved in that. The 24 definitely getting the worst of it. As Dalton Tucker's going to go all the way back to 9th place. Try and get that car fixed up on pit lane. The leader's going to survive. Timothy Harper,
coming on the outside.
who's going to have a penalty after that. Had it gone all the way up to 3rd. So it's really anybody's race at this point. Another attempt at the green-white checker. Matthew George out there in first. Sean Briscoe second. Timothy Harper sits in third, but he's going to get moved to the end of the line here. Drayton Cook will inherit third. Corey Wharton will be fourth. Bruce Ackerman fifth. Todd Slauson sixth. Josh Conover seventh. And I believe that might be everybody on the lead lap here. Kevin Roy, Timothy Harper, Dalton Tucker, and Ryan Kendrick all on pit lane trying to get those cars fixed up and out there as quick as possible. So now comes a bunch of strategy going through your head, knowing where to defend, knowing where the other driver is better at, or may think they're better at, where you can close the door. Is this getting exciting? Lights out on the pace car. That means one lap until green. You see Drayton Cook with that beat up front end. How cool would it be
22 for changing lanes? I don't know.
to see that car?
Talk
in
later
victory
about
lane?
the rules there, but just watch it.
On the last restart?
Yeah, you went under Conover and then you hit the brakes, it looks like to me, so that's why we're not going to do anything about it.
Roger.
Here we go. Another green-white checker situation. Big jump right there by Matthew George in the 28. For the 36 is Sean Briscoe. Going to hold on tight. He's going to hang on with him. Big run out of the corner. Corey Wharton slides up in a second. That beat and banged up front end. He's going to try and do a little bit of a slide job of his own. He gets in front of the 36. Holding on. White flag. Final lap here at Martinsville. Matthew George trying to hold on, try and get the win. Corey Wharton going to try and give him the bumper. Tries to get to the inside. Can't do it just yet. We'll see if that is going to cost him. He's one car length back too. Sends it in deep. Locks up the brakes. Matthew George holding on. And Matthew George going to come away the winner here tonight at Martinsville. Corey Wharton in second. Sean Briscoe third. Bruce Ackerman fourth. And Kevin Roy fifth.
Real quick, I'm going to tally up points real quick. Please stay in your car if you're in the chase. So, Bruce, I know Ryan left already, but Todd, Corey, you're good. Just stay in your car. I'm going to tally up points. I'm going to get top 4 on the front stretch real quick whenever I'm done. So hold tight real quick. Don't leave your cars. If you pull down pit road, just kind of, like I said, stay in your car for me real quick so I can tally this up.
Yeah, no way. I'm still in after that run.
It was close. Like I said, the gap was 3. You were sitting third, 3 up. Ryan was fourth, 2 up. And then Matt was 2 out, and I think Bruce was like 3 or 4 or something like that behind. But like I said, give me like 2 seconds to do points real quick, and I'll let you guys know.
I'm good with Matthew. I'm not going to turn you for it, so whatever. So if I could have gotten under you, I would have made sure to stay there.
Yeah, thanks for playing racing. Oh, man.
Good win, Matt.
Thank you.
A little bit of drama going on here as we try to figure out who's in the top four.
Christian also says good win there, Matthew.
He's going to be racing for the championship next week.
Thanks, Christian.
All right, unofficially, Dalton, I know you can't, so I'll try and figure something out for that. But Dalton, Corey, Matt, obviously, and Todd, I got you in by 4. So if you're still in your car, if you can come back out, come on to the front strip.
So you heard it right there. Matthew
yeah.
George, Corey Wharton, Todd Slauson, and Dalton Tucker going to be your 4 drivers racing for a championship next week at ISM Speedway, and that should be a good one. So what a finish here
Briscoe, you're good to go.
in the NORA B series. And that was an excellent race,
Alrighty.
complete with that green-white checker finish there at the end.
You missing whatever the first race was. Hurt you, man. You had a nice comeback.
Let's take a quick look at the
Yeah, Sean,
unofficial
man.
results
Sorry
here
about that, he didn't make
of
it.
the Martinsville race here in the round of 8.
It's all right. I wanted to spend time with my family. I won't see them until next summer, sometime in summer, so that's why I missed that race. But that's good. It was fun.
So Matthew George comes away with the win. Corey Wharton in second. Sean Briscoe in third. Bruce Ackerman fourth. Kevin Roy in fifth. Todd Slauson sixth. Josh Conover seventh. Drayton Cook in eighth. Timothy Harper ninth. Dalton Tucker 10th. Ryan Kendrick 11th. Tim Averill 12th, Josh Mayu 13th, and that is going to round it on out for your drivers here tonight. And we're going to get the top 4 into the booth here momentarily.
You're on Discord, right?
Yeah. We done with the picture?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, he turned him. He turned him.
So first into the booth here is going to be the number 28 of Matthew George. First of all, Matt, congrats on the win tonight. How did that one feel?
Fantastic. I did not expect to win this track. I've always struggled here. Every time I've always raced here. So to win here was a extreme surprise. Man, I don't know what to say.
Absolutely. Well, take us through that final green-white checker. What's going through your head after you just saw kind of the chaos that was the second green-white checker before? What was your strategy going into that final one? Were you watching your rearview mirror, or did you have just eyes out front? Take us through that.
Well, I was mainly thinking, stop freaking wrecking. I don't want to see more of those green and white checkers. But yeah, I was trying to focus out front, but it's hard to when you know the guys behind you are just gonna try to move you up the track. So going into 3 there on the last lap, I drove in just a little bit deeper, and it looked like the guys behind me did as well. So the top 3 and 4 pretty much all overdrove that corner trying to us a bumper. So I guess I'm glad I overdrove that corner. Um, oh man, I'm so happy right now.
Well, last thing, and then we'll get you on your way. What is your prediction for next week? ISM Speedway, your top 4 is set. You guys know it. What's your prediction coming off a win here tonight?
uh, I kept saying all season long, if I can get to the Phoenix, uh, I, I'd have a shot. In the past, I've always been really good at that track. Um, so I know Dalton's really good there. Um, I know the others are pretty good there as well. So I think I have a shot, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely. Well, the floor is yours. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we send you to victory lane?
Oh man, all my teammates, Flatline, Motorsports, uh, you guys broadcasting, all the admins, uh, everyone in this race tonight. It was actually a pretty clean race. Uh, Looking forward to next week. Final 4, gonna put on a good show. Everyone that's watching, man, this has been a fun season, and really looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, congrats on the win. Go enjoy it, and we'll see you again next week racing for a championship. So that was Matthew George, our race winner here tonight, and just the excitement in his voice right there. So cool to see, and almost at a loss for words right there was Matt George, but so very cool to see. Next into the booth is our second place finisher here tonight, Corey Wharton. And Corey, kind of a wild little finish right there. You picked up quite a few spots there at the end. Take us through those green-white checkers from your perspective.
Well, it was unique. That's the nice way of putting it. No, it was all in all, it was a good race. I enjoyed it. It's a good learning experience on how to try and beat. Like I guess this is what it's like being JGR against everybody else, where you run Toyota and everyone else is like got 7,000 different teammates and people that they can run with. Because I'm there trying to figure out what Flatline is gonna do, and they got 2 cars that are pretty fast, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm pretty good on the long run. I can run down Matthew. I can stay with Ryan. I feel really bad for him getting pretty much stuck in the wall at the end of it. And but yeah, I was just minding my business, trying not to hit anybody. Sadly, Bruce and I got into each other. I'm pretty sure he came up off the bottom because I know I gave him space. But either way, it kind of bent the steering a little bit, which you don't care for aero here. You just care to make sure the car still mechanically works. So I was a little bit cheesed about that, but I was like, whatever, it's no big deal. Hopefully I've scored enough points, because like I told you the last time at Texas, where I still don't understand where my speed went. It's just for me, it was about pointing my way in, because sadly every race in this chase, with the exception of maybe Phoenix, I'm actually absolutely not comfortable running. Kansas runs more like Darlington than Darlington. Like, it's all these tracks where I'm just like, man, I'm not good here. Like, that's literally all I'm thinking. And then we get to Martinsville, and I'm like, well, at least it's a short track. I did a lot of late model racing coming up in iRacing career and doing like the license progression, and I'm good here. So or sorry, not good. I'm comfortable here. There we go. That's the better word for it. And yeah, just coming down to the end of it, it was pandemonium. But on the restart with, I think it was like 10 to go or whatever, I was personally confused why the 24 stayed out. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, he was maybe like 4 seconds or something like that down the road from me during the regular running. So I'm like, maybe tires aren't going to be that bad. And then I see everyone else dive down pit road, and I'm like, all right, well, they probably know something that I don't. And then when I saw the order when they came out, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I got 2 flatline cars on the inside, so I know exactly what's going to happen to me going down into turn 1 because I know I roughly gauge where Dalton was going to restart, and I had a good idea, and I just knew I had to get through the gears because on restarts, that's one thing that apparently I'm pretty good at is getting through the gears quickly without spinning up the tires. And I got clear. I was clear of them, and I, didn't change lanes before the start, finish, or nothing. And I think from turn 1 to turn 4, my rear tires were never actually in contact with the racing surface. I was lifted the entire way. And once I got back to about 9th, which again, I feel bad for Ryan because he got jacked up and stuck behind me on the outside after the train kind of got their way through. Once I got back to 9th, I was like, well, if a caution comes out, I'm cutting back to 2nd or winning this thing because I know these guys are burning through tires because you're sliding the left front here for whatever reason every time you enter the corner. So then the caution came out and pitted, put tires on it, and I said, okay, let's go try and win a race. And I had a chance to spin them, and I remember what Kevin Harvick did, and I said, that's dumb. And I remember what other people have done, and I'm not pulling the Danica because I don't really know how to wreck people, so I don't want to wreck myself trying to wreck somebody. And I got nothing against Matthew. He drove a great race. He was up front. He was in the top 3 the entire time. So I was like, you know what? I'm there. I know that the car made contact, but I'm not going to, jerk it a little to the right to finish the contact. I'm just going to try and keep off of him as best I could. But I feel bad for my buddy Sean. He was spending time with his family, so he ended up missing a race. And because of that, he got into a real points/win and you're in kind of situation, and he was really close. And I wanted to get at least inside of Matthew and mix that up a bit and see, because I know if he had gotten to the back of me, either he was going to turn me or he was going to send it, and I would have let him send it. So yeah, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Ryan. Racing with him is fun. We had a lot of good times at Michigan, and he pulled some crazy strategy at Michigan to win a stage, and I think he almost won that race too. So. There's a lot of guys that, it's only 4 of us that can make it, but I wish there was like 6 to 7 of us that could make it because there's a lot of guys that are really fun to race with, and it'd be cool battling them for the championship. But we're in. I got Ream to thank. I got Outlaw Motorsports, Outlaw Designs for painting the car, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting going into Phoenix. If we have restarts like that at the end, it's literally anybody's championship. You can buy a lottery ticket and have better luck at guessing who's going to win if we have restarts at the end because it's going to be chaos. But I said it at Texas. I just need to be in it. If I'm in it, then we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens come next week.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Corey Wharton. Congrats on that 2nd place finish. Congrats on making it to that championship 4, and we'll see you next week at ISM.
Yeah. Josh, just so you know, you're going to have butterflies the entire time because we're coming with some crazy. There's always going to be things happening, so you're gonna be stressed next week too. So anyway, enjoy. Thank you again for the broadcast, and thanks Hanover for the league.
So Corey Wharton, your 2nd place finisher here tonight, and the 2nd of your top 4. And now next into the booth is the 22 of Todd Slauson, who finished 6th here tonight. And that's good enough to put you in the championship 4. And Todd, tell us how good that feels, finishing that race, knowing you're racing next week for a championship.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I hung on by the hair on my teeth there. It was that was tight. I was throughout the race, I didn't think there was any way I was still in it. And then right there at the end, I got my lap back and happened to get up to 6th just because of the late race cautions and kind of lucked out there. But I'm definitely glad to be in it. I've been dedicated and haven't missed a race all season. I think I'm one of the few guys that hasn't missed a race. So that has definitely paid off here at the end of the season for me.
No doubt about that. So you mentioned the late race cautions. Take us through them from your perspective, behind the wheel for you. What did you have any strategy going into that 2nd green-white checker, or was it just kind of do or die for you?
Well, I was hoping just to stay on the inside because all those guys had way more speed than I did the entire race. I had gotten damage early, and you just don't have time to fix it here. So I'd been racing the whole time with 2 or 3 minutes worth of damage, and it was just killing my car in the center of the turn. So I was hoping to stay on the inside and not have to battle out there because I just didn't have the speed to do it. But I was definitely glad to see that they kept happening because I needed a couple just to get the lucky dog and get my spot back or get my lap back. Once that happened, I was just trying to get as many spots as I could there, but it was tough. Those guys were fast tonight.
Absolutely. Well, next week we go to ISM, Phoenix, if you will. What does Phoenix hold for you? Are you very good at that track, or is it going to be a bit of a challenge for the 22 team?
That's not one of my best tracks. It'll definitely be a challenge for me, but just like tonight, I mean, we get down to the end of these races, anything can happen. Anybody can have trouble. It's anybody's game, really. I'm excited just to be a part of it, and I'm honored to be a part of this league. It's been a good season.
Absolutely should be a great championship race. Well, the floor is yours, Todd. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we send you on your way?
Definitely appreciate Conover and all the admin for this league. I appreciate you guys in the booth. You do an awesome job. I love watching the broadcasts after the race. Other than that, I just appreciate all the guys I've been racing with all season. Everybody's been very respectful, and I've had a good time racing with them.
Absolutely. Well, congrats again making that championship four, and we'll see you next week.
Right on. See you next week.
All right, that's Todd Slauson. Like he's getting by on the skin of his teeth on points. And now let's talk to arguably the favorite for the championship next week. Dalton Tucker in the 24 machine had a little bit of a tough run tonight with a couple of late race incidents, if you will. Finishes 10th, but Dalton Tucker getting into the championship four. Take us through how exciting that is, especially with the length of this season, Dalton.
Yeah, it's been a fairly long season, so coming down to the end will definitely it'll be an interesting race next week. And tonight wasn't great. I think I was definitely the fastest, but the fastest doesn't always win. And after I got that EOL for getting into Bruce, I used some tires there, so it came down to the end, and I didn't have any, and it definitely hurt me. There's no keeping up with them once they pit at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So take us through that. You see pretty much everyone in your rearview mirror head down pit lane. What's your strategy at that point here at a track like Martinsville?
Just make it as hard for them to pass me as possible and just hold the bottom. And it worked for a little bit, but the speed difference was just far too much.
Absolutely. We saw a couple late race cautions that really threw a wrench in a lot of the finishing order. Do you think we'll see one of those next week at ISM?
I sure hope not. Especially if I'm up front or something like that, I hope it stays just green till the end. And if I'm not up front, then I hope for cautions. But hopefully it goes smooth and some good racing happens.
Absolutely. Well, Phoenix next week, is that a track that suits you in the 24 team, or is that one you're going to have to practice over the course of the next week?
I run pretty good there. It's not one of my best tracks by any means, but it's one of those tracks where it's hard to pass, and it's going to be track position for sure. So hopefully we can get track position and try to keep it up front and just go from there.
Absolutely. Well, Dalton Tucker, quite a handful of wins all season long. Hopefully you get another next week. The floor is yours. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here on the broadcast?
I definitely got to give a shout out to Flatline just for having me on the team, and hopefully I can bring it home for them. I think we got 3 cars in the owners points championship, so hopefully one of the Flatlines wins that, and hopefully me or Matt brings home the championship for the team as a driver. And just appreciate all the guys that come out. It's been kind of a roller coaster of turnouts this year, so just appreciate everybody that has, and hopefully we can bring it home next week. And appreciate you doing this as always, and can't wait to go back and watch this race.
Absolutely. Well, it was fun from up here in the booth, I can tell you that much. But Dalton, we will see you next week. Congrats again on making the championship 4, and we're going to look forward to a fun race next week.
Thanks, man.
So that was Dalton Tucker, the final of the Championship 4. And I got to say, it's going to be a good one at Phoenix next week. It's another short track. Going to be a little bit different than this Martinsville short track, but also kind of the same. So we're going to have quite a run here for the championship. And you heard from each of the Championship 4. Bunch of them very excited drivers, bunch of them ready to go at Phoenix. So it should be a good one. If you enjoyed the broadcast of the NORA B Series, be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, for the conclusion of Season 2 in the NORA B Series, as those 4 drivers will duke it out for the championship in Season 2. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and thank you to everyone watching this back after the fact. You guys make this well worthwhile. Big shout out also to Martin Plute and Josh Conover, the league admins and administrators. I know they don't always get the biggest thanks, but they put on a great league, and we've had some great showings throughout the course of this year. That's going to do it for me up here in the booth. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Until next week, we'll talk to you again soon. Stay tuned for Phoenix. Should be a good one. Talk to you soon, everybody.